Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we will be recreating a card similar to this one using a laminator and hot foil sheets. The products I will be using are from the Pretty Pink Posh fall release along with previously released items. I will be die cutting the mug from the winter mug die set and applying Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo over the Deco Leaves stencil. Using a palette knife, I will apply the Duo Gel over the stencil onto the mug. I'm also going to use low-tack tape to make sure my stencil does not shift. This gel can be used with or without a laminator, so with or without heat, due to the tackiness of the product once it has time to dry. When applying the product, you just need a light coating. The thicker you apply the gel, the longer it will take to dry. I'm going to gently remove any of the excess gel with my palette knife, and I will return it back to the jar. I'm going to gently remove my stencil, and I'm going to place my mug off to the side to dry. To create my background, I have cut my cardstock to 6 by 6, and I will be using the Pretty Pink Posh layered Woodland stencil. This is a 4-piece stencil set with etching on the bottom right corner of the stencil, letting you know which layer you are currently using. I am stenciling on my Waffle Flower stencil mat, and I will be using my blending brushes to apply my Gina K Designs dye ink. Starting with the color Plum Punch, I will use a small blending brush and ink over 4 of the same leaves. Once I have applied the Plum Punch, I will switch to the color Tranquil Teal and ink over the 2 maple leaves. I am being careful to not blend over the Plum Punch with Tranquil Teal. You could mask off the areas you don't want to ink over, but I think there's enough space between the leaves that I won't need to use any masking paper or masking magic to mask off those areas. After applying Tranquil Teal, I will finish inking up Stencil A with the color Tomato Soup. I will carefully remove Stencil A, and I'm going to go ahead and switch to Stencil B. Starting with the color Faded Brick, I'm going to apply the faded brick over the mushroom tops. Again, using a small blending brush. After I'm done applying the faded brick to the tops of the mushrooms, I'm going to go ahead and switch to warm cocoa, and I'm going to apply that to the bottom of the acorns. Again, you could mask off the areas, but I feel that there's plenty of space to not need to bring in any masking paper. I will switch to fresh asparagus and fill in the leaves, and that will complete Stencil B. Now I'm going to bring in Stencil C, and I will start Stencil C with the color Sandy Beach. I'm going to use the Sandy Beach, and I'm going to fill in the tops of the acorns and the bottoms of the mushroom. Once I have added the Sandy Beach, I will switch to grass green, and I will fill in the remainder of the leaves. And this will complete Stencil C. For Stencil D, we will be applying the Duo Transfer Gel as we will be foiling Stencil D. So here's the Stencil D. I'm going to tape down Stencil D because I really want to make sure that the stencil does not shift when I apply the Duo Transfer Gel. Again, you don't need a lot, you just need a little bit. And I will apply this all over the stencil. Because I'm applying the Duo Gel over dye ink, I'm going to be very careful to not apply a lot of the Duo Gel because I will not be applying the excess gel back into my container because it will pick up some of the color from the dye ink. Instead, I will wipe that off with a paper towel. And then I want to make sure to run my stencil under water so that way that the Duo Gel does not dry on top of my stencil. To save some time off screen, I have die cut all the pieces to create the fall scene. I used the Winter Mugs die set, the Fall Mug Editions die set, the pumpkins from the Halloween Mug Editions die set, the leaves from the Holiday Mug Edition die set, and the steam from the Get Well Mug Editions die set. Using my Gina K Designs dye ink, I will ink portions of my die cuts to create depth to the die cut pieces. For the leaves, I'm using the color Christmas Pine, and also for the other leaf that will be tucked under the flower, I'm going to use Warm Cocoa. For this stir stick, I'm also going to apply the Warm Cocoa to the steam. To create my flower, I die cut the flower twice. I'm going to use the colors Wild Dandelion and Tomato Soup, and then I'll stack them together to create dimension. Starting with the color Tomato Soup, I'm going to ink blend the center of the flower. And then I'm going to apply Wild Dandelion to the petals and ink blend into the tomato soup. It doesn't need to be perfect as they will be stacked together. For the leaf, I'm going to bring back the tomato soup, ink blend over the entire leaf, and then I will bring in Faded Brick and ink the bottom portion of the leaf. And then I'll bring back the tomato soup and ink blend over the upper portion of the leaf. And I'm going to go ahead and glue the stems to my pumpkin. You don't need a lot, just a little, and I will apply an acrylic block on top to hold that together. I also glued my acorn together, and now I'm going to go ahead and build my flower. I will be using the Gina K Designs Glimmering Gold Foil to foil my background, and the Simon Says Stamp Deco Foil in the color Copper to foil my mug. Now for the best part, and that is the peel and reveal. I love the pop of shine to go with our stenciled background. I also love the added shine to our mug. I think it looks so cute, and it'll look even better once we put the scarf on top of our mug. Put all that shine, it's beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my panel down. Remember, we started off using a 6x6 piece of cardstock, and now I have cut down my panel to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this will be a side folding note card. Now it's time to build our scene. I need to adhere my vellum, but in order to do so, I need to place my mug on top of the vellum so I know where to place my glue. Remember, glue does show through vellum, so I need to make sure that the glue will be hidden. So here I glued my mug down to my panel, which later I realized was a mistake because it was really hard to tuck in my elements inside the mug. So I will carefully peel up the mug and tuck my elements inside of the mug. First, I'm going to glue down my stir stick, and I'm going to use my tweezers to hold that in place. I will assemble my scarf, and when I assemble my scarf, I'm going to make sure that the pattern from the knot matches the same direction as the tail of the scarf. Carefully lining those up. And I'm using my Gina K Connect liquid adhesive to adhere everything together. Using those reverse tweezers is a lifesaver when building this card. Now it's time to add our marshmallows. My marshmallows were cut out of white glittered cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and tuck that inside of the mug, having them peek out just a little bit. Once I've glued all of my marshmallows, then it's time to adhere the mug to the vellum. Again, using my Connect liquid adhesive, I will cover the entire backing of the mug, and I'm going to glue that down. I've glued down the first pumpkin. The second pumpkin I'm actually going to pop up for added dimension using my 3D foam tape. I'm using a 3D foam square to pop up my flower. I kind of judged up the leaves a little bit, even though they'll probably get flattened when I mail this card out, but that's okay. Still think it looks great. I do apply liquid adhesive to my foam square. Kind of gives me a little bit of a wiggle room if I need to move things around. I need to glue down the bottom leaf of the flower. I'm going to tuck in the other leaf underneath the mug and between the main flower. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the leaves to where I'm going to place the acorn. So I'm kind of laying them out to see where I like them. One of the leaves will be tucked underneath the mug. Using my Connect glue, I'm going to adhere the first leaf. Adhere the second one. Using my acorn to see where I need to glue down the third leaf. And then finally adding my acorn. And I'm going to tuck that under the flower. By gluing down the stem, that'll help secure the vellum. Now it's time to work on our sentiment. Bringing in the Misti, we will be heat embossing the word Happy Thanksgiving onto warm Coco cardstock by Gina K Designs. I'm going to prep my cardstock using an anti-static powder tool. Using the Sentiment Strip Fall stamp set from Pink Posh, I will stamp the words Happy Thanksgiving using my Versamark clear sticky ink. I will be using white embossing powder. Off screen, I have preheated my heat tool using a paintbrush to wipe off any excess powder. And I'm using my Gina K Designs Sentiment Strip die set to cut out my sentiment. I did use my 3D foam tape to adhere my sentiment strip. Using the pretty Pink Posh black onyx pearls, I will apply the pearls to my flower to kind of make them look like seeds. Using my embellishment wand to help me place them down. And once I've glued them all down, I will use the other end of my embellishment wand to move them into place. Using my Spectrum Noir shimmer pen, I will apply shimmer to the stem, the leaves, and I do apply the shimmer pen to the stem of my pumpkin. And now I'm going to use my scissors to trim off any excess that's hanging over our card. And that will complete today's card project. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I would love for you to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps. And to all my subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!